Hello, Rockville. Here's what you need to know about your city. Rockville has a lot to celebrate. February is Black History Month. We celebrate the Lunar New Year and hit the ice in Rockville Town Square. All that and more in this February edition of Rockville's 11.
There will be neither rest nor tranquility in America till the Negro is granted his citizenship rights. The whirlwinds of revolt will continue to shake the foundations of our nation until the bright day of justice emerges.
The movement, the struggle, the fight, out of this darkness came light. For equality is our right, and for this his praises we sing. And this is why we celebrate Dr. King. For he once said that the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy.
When I first met him, there was something about his demeanor that just separated him from the average person. You sort of knew the way he walked, the way he talked, his basic mannerisms were the kinds of things that were really special. And little did I know at that time that he would go on to become the great person that he did.
Indeed, Dr. King was special, and Mr. Franz Wilson, a longtime Rockville resident who lived in Montgomery, Alabama during the height of the Civil Rights Movement, will forever be touched by what he calls purely accidental, his incidental encounters with Dr. King.
Back in 1963, when we lived in Montgomery, the Montgomery Improvement Association, which Dr. King headed, their headquarters was in a small building not too far from the YMCA that I was in charge of. And when their board of directors met from time to time, sometimes they didn't have enough room in the small building. And so they met in the YMCA. And when they came to their meetings, he came with them, and as he would go down the corridor to their meetings, we nodded and say hello and that type of thing. Later on, we did get a chance to chat, and so that was really the beginning of what I say was accidental. The YMCA of Montgomery, Alabama had 9 branches. And each Y had a district that they served. Within the 9 branches, there was the Cleveland Avenue YMCA, in which I was the executive director. The Cleveland Avenue YMCA was to serve all of the black people in Montgomery. And it wasn't integrated at all. It was the kind of thing that on a day-to-day basis, because of the other racial type of controversies going on, in order to conduct a program, was always had to be conducted within the framework of what the board of directors for the YMCA in Montgomery said the Cleveland Avenue YMCA could do and could not do. I was told one time that I was subject to lose my job had I continued to let the Montgomery Improvement Association meet in the YMCA building. When he would come to the YMCA with his board of directors, and he was on his way down to the meeting rooms, he used to look at me and laugh. He said, "You're mighty bold, aren't you afraid of your job?" Okay, and meaning that I was not following the directives from the board of directors of the YMCA of Montgomery. I did, purely by accident again, travel from Montgomery to Atlanta by air, and accidentally sat across the aisle from him. And so the flying time from Montgomery to Atlanta is just 20 minutes. And so we chatted a little while, and he said, he looked at me, he said, "You still got your job?" And that was about the extent of our conversation during that 20-minute flight. So But in those days, I mean, that was the run of the day. You did those things because you had to, you managed them, and you moved on with your life. A month or so after my family and I moved to Montgomery, Alabama, the 4 girls that were killed in the church over in Birmingham, that explosion and their death occurred about a month or so after we had moved there. And my wife was very, very unhappy about my insisting that we stay. You have to remember at that time in '63, all of the incidents that occurred as it related to race relations were sort of vicious.
Another horrific event that Mr. Wilson found himself in the midst of was Bloody Sunday, the march from Selma to Montgomery for voting rights, which turned out to be a political and emotional juggernaut in the civil rights movement. About 600 marchers headed out of Selma, but only made it as far as the Edmund Pettus Bridge, about 6 blocks, before they were attacked by state and local lawmen with billy clubs and tear gas.
The people in Selma, Alabama tried to march and were turned back by the state troopers and the police. And later on, when they finally did get a chance to march, I used a station wagon that I had just bought to carry people out, people who were coming in on planes and buses out to the marches, to join the march to come into Montgomery. There was a lady by the name of Viola Luizzo who was killed, taking people from Montgomery back to Selma after the march was over. It just, again, by coincidence, Mrs. Luizzo actually stayed in the YMCA building the night before she was killed. And I did not know that until the FBI came the next day to get her bags and take them back to her family.
For her efforts and the efforts of Mr. Wilson and hundreds of others have not been in vain. The struggles of our people have been made known worldwide. On October 1964, Dr. King became the youngest recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize for leading a nonviolent resistance against racial prejudice in the United States.
You can accomplish what you want in life without having to fight each other to get it. That's the nonviolence approach. He studied and went to India and studied Gandhi and others, and he didn't think of that as overnight as a way to address it. He had done some theses on it when he was at Boston University, and so, you know, to have people marching down the street and policemen coming up and hitting people with billy clubs and attacking with dogs, and people don't fight back. Take me to jail. I'm getting my point over, but lock me up. I'll get out one day. But that's the thing. It still works. It still works until this day.
Although Dr. King preached and illustrated a nonviolent approach, he was shot and killed at a hotel in Memphis, Tennessee on April 4th, 1968.
When he was assassinated, and it was very, very hurtful in terms of how it occurred, when it occurred, and I was on my way home from my job for the day when it occurred, and I actually pulled over to the side of the road and I cried. I mean, it's just that it touched me that much because at that time I had seen him personally 2 or 3 times, and I'm sure that there were other people just like me who could not believe what they'd heard. Another coincidence, I was in Atlanta doing some training, and that was the day that they had his funeral, and I happened to be on the sidewalk when the mule-drawn wagon carrying his hearse was going to his burial. And of course, the streets were lined on both sides, and I was just one of the many who just happened to be there at that time. But it's still something that I remember until this day.
Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech is recognized with Lincoln's Gettysburg Address and FDR's infamy speech as one of the finest speeches in American oratory.
We will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants Protestants and Catholics will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
His dream, in part, is slowly coming true. It is a long way from reality. A very long way from reality. But he would be able to say what he dreamed of as far as race relations in this country. It's on its way to a better standard. But in no way has it reached the kind of thing that all of us know would be the truth.
Dr. King will be remembered as a world leader for the content of his character and not for the color of his skin. He is recognized with memorials in Hungary, South Africa, Israel, Ghana, and India. And on August 22, 2011, he finally got his memorial on home soil.
My wife and I have gone to the memorial, and we've found it to be quite a moving experience. There's some debate as to whether or not the facial features on the memorial itself resembles Dr. King, and my wife and I agree that it does, because we have seen him in person and able to relate to it from that standpoint.
Mr. Wilson shared his moving memorial experience with the attendees of the city's 40th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. birthday celebration.
When I visited the King Memorial this summer, I had no idea that the man whom I so casually knew would be memorialized in the nation's capital on the same grounds with 4 of the America's presidents. My grandchildren always describe exciting things as being awesome, and I can only describe that visit of mine as beyond awesome.
The city of Rockville, the county seat of Montgomery County, Maryland, thought it was of great importance to celebrate the legacy of Dr. King. In January of 1971, the mayor and council passed a resolution commemorating the birth of Dr. King. It wasn't until 1983 that President Ronald Reagan signed a bill to honor Dr. King with a federal holiday. 3 years later, on January 20th, 1986, it was observed for the first time as Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And on January 17, 2000, it was officially observed in all 50 U.S. states. Mr. Wilson may feel that his encounters with Dr. King were purely accidental, but we know that Dr. King's journey was not by chance. His words were not random, his message not uncalculated, and his dream not unforeseen. For he had been to the mountaintop, and his eyes had seen the promised land and the glory of the coming of the Lord.
Rockville came together to celebrate Dr. King's legacy and to make sure the dream is still alive in our number 10 story. It was the 40th anniversary of the city celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. Held at Richard Montgomery High School and hosted by the mayor and council and the city's Human Rights Commission, the event included musical performances, award presentations, and speeches, including a keynote address by WUSA news anchor J.C. Hayward.
Today we must recommit ourselves to carrying out Dr. King's work and to honor the values that were at the center of his life: tolerance, nonviolence, compassion, love, and above all, justice. It was a tremendous turnout. The program was phenomenal. The entertainment was delightful. And I do hope that my words inspired a few.
It's a great holiday. It reminds us of the importance of trying to understand one another, trying to bring peace and harmony into our lives. That's always the most important message. And trying to understand one another.
But it's an inspirational event for the city. We have to always be reminded of what happened and what the challenges still are. It's an incredibly diverse community. We've come a long way. There's always a certain way to go, and you always can improve. But yes, we have a wonderful legacy.
One of the great things about the late, great Dr. Martin Luther King is that he's still here. I mean, he's no longer alive, but there's a feeling, and America, it tends to perpetuate the memory of him in a positive way. What else could we ask for? Great day, great event, great place, and real good feel, I hope, for everybody.
And coming to Rockville, I was introduced to so many different cultures, and I joined the International Baccalaureate program, which teaches you school on a worldly basis, so that opened me up to new cultures and just, helping others.
I think what we wanted to convey was that he had a dream for everybody, and so today I think that was shown through our performances and our reflections and that sort of thing. I think we had a diverse group of people that were on the stage today, multi-generational, different ethnicities.
The full production of the 2012 MLK Day celebration will be airing during the month of February on Rockville11 and will be on demand on the city's website at rockvillemd.gov/Rockville11. Rockville Town Square was filled with dragons, kung fu, and tai chi. It was all part of the Vizart's Lunar New Year celebration, and we were there to cover it for our number 9 story. Vizart's held its first Lunar New Year celebration and parade in Rockville Town Square. It was a festive event that recognized the diverse and rich Asian community in our area. Mayor Phyllis Marcuccio and other elected officials gave us their thoughts on the event.
It's another way in which Rockville is diverse and showing its capacity to recognize all kinds of cultures and all kinds of fun activities. So it's an exciting time.
One of the great things about Rockville is the richness of our traditions, and one of the great things about an event like this is it allows these traditions to be celebrated but shared with everybody in the city.
I really think we do things well, and this is just another example of our ability to embrace different cultures and learn from them. We spend a lot of time talking. We need to spend more time listening and really understand where people are coming from.
It was really special, and so many people were here on such a very cold day. It was really neat.
The Asian community now numbers well over 100,000 people in Montgomery County, and Rockville has a significant Asian community. My council district has a very large Asian community. It's a way to celebrate not only the New Year, but the very vibrant and large Asian community in Montgomery County, which contributes so much to our life here, and to celebrate with them. So that's really what this is all about.
That means Happy New Year. For more information on Vizart's events, visit vizarts@rockville.org, or for more information about how to get involved with the Asian Pacific American Task Force at the city, go online to the city's website and search Asian Pacific American Task Force.
Can you raise your hand?
Chief of Long Range Planning David Levy helped launch Rockville Town Square in 2007. We caught up with him as he was playing tour guide to 150 Bell Elementary School kindergartners.
I was really happy that one of the kindergarten teachers gave me a call and said, "Hey, can we come and do a MAPS unit for our kindergartners?"
Rockville Town Square is a mixed-use space that features the Rockville Memorial Library, apartments, stores, restaurants, and more.
You can come, park once, walk around, enjoy yourself, be entertained, generate your own entertainment, and to create fundamentally a heart and a center for the city of Rockville.
There's a lot happening in Rockville Town Square, including a new ice skating rink, 4 new restaurants, and the opening of a new grocery store. We wanted to get the latest from Federal Realty Investment Trust's Robin McBride for our number 7 story.
It has a lot to offer for, children to adults to grandparents. It runs the gamut.
Robin McBride is talking about Town Square today, but remembers how it used to be just a few years ago.
It's amazing. I remember when it was a hole in the ground. I remember when it was a construction site. And, the architecture here is beautiful. A lot of time and effort went into that, and the landscaping, and every piece of Rockville Town Square thought has gone into it.
The most visible change to Town Square right now is the addition of the new ice skating rink.
We've got a new ice rink that opened up in December, at the end of December. It's the largest ice rink in Montgomery County, and we're really excited about it.
And it seems as though it's pretty popular.
It is. We have seen on average about 300 to 400 patrons a day, which is quite successful for an ice rink, so we're happy with it.
Updates happening this spring and summer include 4 new restaurants coming to the square, along with a new grocery store.
Dawson's Market is coming to Rockville Town Square. It is the second location for Elwood Thompson, which is an organic grocery store out of Richmond, Virginia. They'll be opening their second location here, and they named it Dawson's Market so that it would have a local tie to Rockville with the name Dawson and the history of the Dawson family for Rockville, Maryland.
For more information about Rockville Town Square, go online to rockvilletownsquare.com. It's the largest outdoor skating rink between Baltimore and Washington, D.C., and the largest in the county. It's the new Rockville Town Square ice skating rink, and our special correspondent, Luis Baja, has the story for our number 6 spot.
I'm Luis Baja here in Rockville Town Square, where, as you can see, residents are finding themselves a winter getaway. Rockville's new ice skating rink is a real deal with real ice. From the city's younger skaters to the more experienced ones, the cool amenity to Town Square appears to be a hit with skaters.
It's awesome.
Why do you like skating?
Because it's really, really fun. Yeah. This year I thought I was totally gonna fall, but I just didn't fall.
It's really fun to just come and skate for a while, and then you can go shopping or go grab a coffee or something.
I think this is a great place for everyone to go out, adults and their kids or couples to go out and just have some fun.
Ice rink manager Oliver Snyder says the ice brings out skaters of every skill level.
There are a great variety of people, children 2 years old who are just learning to skate, the people older and have a lot of experience skating, so it's a wide range of people that come in here.
Resident Ed Conley is a fan of the rink's location.
It's the greatest thing because my wife works in the town center here, and we can skate and then go pick her up from work. It's a great thing to have.
To find out about hours and cost for skating in Town Square, visit rockvilletownsquare.com and search ice rink. For Rockville's11, I'm Luis Baja.
While this ice rink may be good for skaters of every caliber, it was at another Rockville ice rink that we found the skating to be a little more competitive.
Hockey, it's such a great sport for teaching kids a lot of life skills. What you learn on the rink here is translated into them when they're adults, from being patient, being the teamwork, character, team, everything. Let it happen.
Paul Lofgren has been coaching Richard Montgomery's hockey team since it was founded in 2002.
Hockey is such a great sport for teaching mechanics, tactics. They're smart. You have to know how to be, where to be, when to be, and see something developing. It combines a lot and a lot of character. And a lot of these kids are good kids.
Well, it gives everybody an opportunity to, get better and play with your friends who you go to school with, and pretty much like a bonding time.
I think it's great. I really love the sport of hockey, and most of the hockey players would agree that whenever they play hockey, they just want to play forever. So just playing for their high school, being able to represent is a great thing.
While the team has been skating under the radar for the past few years, games provide a fun atmosphere for even the most casual sports fan.
We've always been into hockey. We've loved the caps, and it's just so great to be able to have someplace to go in the wintertime and come out and have some fun.
Hockey in the Rockville area is still growing, and Coach Lofgren has a message for those who may want to play but think they're too inexperienced.
Every coach is willing to teach anybody how to play. I've got kids we call ankle skaters. They skate on their ankles, and we teach them. They become fine players by the time they're juniors, and they become great contributors to the game. And it's any kid, I would say, come on out. If you've never played hockey, every coach, I don't know any coach that wouldn't teach a kid how to play hockey.
For more information on how to join teams like Richard Montgomery or to find local games, go online to mshl.org. For Rockville11, I'm Chris Pfeiffer.
It might not seem like it, but spring is right around the corner. And that means the city has a wide world of sports that they're offering through their Rec and Parks program. We had the chance to find out more in our number 4 story.
Well, it's an easy sport. It's inexpensive. All you need is a good pair of shoes and a pair of shorts, and you can go out and run on your own.
That's the advice from John Sisela of the Montgomery County Roadrunners. He helps coordinate the track and field sports program at the city of Rockville. A longtime runner, he knows the advantages to hitting the track.
We know that there's an obesity problem in this country, and these kids, this is a great way to stay fit, healthy, and slim. And the kids all enjoy it, and we have a great time out there, both for training with the coaches and with the meets every week.
Sports program specialist Jen Betts says it's the coaches that help to make the city's programs rock.
Well, all of our youth sports have volunteer coaches, so we really appreciate the time and effort that volunteer coaches put in to each team. They really are a mentor and an asset to our leagues and programs. Without them, it wouldn't run as well. And of course, we have dedicated staff that have been doing this for years and years, and you know, Rockville's their home base, and they just look forward to each upcoming season.
Rockville has a variety of sports to sign up for the spring, in addition to track and field. To find out about every sport offered this spring, go online to rockvillemd.gov/recreation/sports. We have the final numbers for the city's annual coat drive, and this is coming in as our number 3 story. Lincoln Park Community Center Supervisor Yvette Yaboa was happy with the success of the city's annual coat drive. The Warm Hearts, Warm Coats drive brought in 450 coats for those in need.
I think it's important to be able to give back to the community and just to help those who aren't as fortunate as we are. So the idea was just well received. So many of those who were able to receive new coats for Christmas just jumped on the idea of giving their old coats after the holidays. So we're very excited to donate these coats, knowing that they're going to help many people in the communities.
In an effort to learn more about each other, the mayor and council invited Montgomery County Public Schools to a recent council meeting. We have the story in our number 2 slot. Montgomery County Public Schools Superintendent Dr. Joshua Starr was joined by 2 officials from the Board of Education at a recent mayor and council meeting. We caught up with Dr. Starr, Shirley Brandman, and Laura Berthume to get their thoughts on the meet and greet with Rockville's mayor and council.
Well, we are building a strong relationship that is going to support our kids and support our community and continue to support world-class schools. I hope folks understand that we're growing and changing. We have about 2,500 kids more per year. The demographics are changing, and everybody, elected officials, staff, we're all really eager and willing to meet the challenges of the future.
It was a terrific opportunity to have a chance to talk with the elected representatives of Rockville about our common interests, both understanding how Rockville's needs fit into the larger Montgomery County needs, talking about our shared vision for what we want for all our students, and really thinking about how we can pool our advocacy efforts in order to achieve our common goals.
We really have to collaborate. Obviously, the board headquarters and the school system headquarters are right here in Rockville, and we've got a significant portion of our kids right here in Rockville. So we have to work together when it comes to particularly issues like school construction funding. Our schools are overcrowded everywhere. If we can have the city work together with us to help go advocate for those dollars, if we can understand how we can work together to get those schools built with a minimum of fuss, then we are all so much better off.
Now for a roundup of information in our regular feature we're calling Quick Hits. The mayor and council were recently given a fiscal year 2013 budget preview, and they want you to get involved with the budget process. You can start by going online to the city's budget page at rockvillemd.gov/budget. There you will find ways to give your thoughts on the upcoming budget, and you'll find a calendar of events related to the budget. You're also invited by the mayor and council to speak at any upcoming meeting happening on Mondays, stop by a drop-in session prior to a meeting, or you can send an email to mayorcouncil@rockvillemd.gov. Our Rockville City Police Department was honored recently with a Crime Prevention Award. The Rockville PD was one of 14 law enforcement agencies honored in 2011 for overall community crime prevention by the Governor's Crime Prevention Institute. This is the 10th time Rockville Police have earned the award. The Rockville City Police Department earned the distinction for its work to provide community programs on personal security, residential security, and commercial security. For more information about the Rockville City Police Department and its programs, go to rockvillemd.gov/police. And we wanted to let you know that registration is now open for Rockville residents for summer camps. The city is celebrating 50 years of providing fun, safe, affordable camps for kids in the community. When Rockville's first summer camps were held in 1962, only a handful of families took part in the programs. Today, more than 2,000 campers from ages 3 to 15 participate in a wide range of camp offerings. The summer camp guide is available online and at city facilities. You can find it at rockvillemd.gov. Well, that's it for this February edition of Rockville's11. I'm your host, Bridget Breuer. We'd like to invite you to follow us on Twitter at Rockville11 or check us out on YouTube at City of Rockville altogether. On behalf of the whole team here, thanks for watching.